Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince was released in 2009 and once again was directed by David Yates. And in this movie, Harry enters his 6th year of Hogwarts and he finds a mysterious book that was owned by the Half-Blood Prince, and he also begins to learn more about Voldemort's past. Continuing on with Harry Potter as we are nearing the end of this series, which is sad but at the same time kind of good because, you know, these movies are getting tougher and tougher to watch. But you know the funny thing is, before I read the books, this movie was actually one of my favorite movies to watch. I absolutely adored Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, the movie. But like I said, I feel like I say this every video, and I do. Once I read the book, I was like, that movie sucks. Like, it's so true. Like, I read the book, and I was like, God, this movie just ruined the entire point of the book. But, you know, I'll get into it. I'll talk about my problems with it. Starting off with the positives, because there are some positives to this movie. I absolutely love the acting in this movie. Up until this point, I think this is probably one of the best acted movies because there's so much emotion that we're talking about. We're talking about, like, anger, love, jealousy, trauma, betrayal, like, all that kind of stuff. And I think the actors portrayed those emotions very well. You know, Daniel Radcliffe, I think Radcliffe said he felt that this is one of his worst performances because I believe he said he was going through, you know, alcohol problems. But, you know, I will say, like, you know, as a kid and even watching it now, I'm like, he knocks it out of the park. Like, the emotion that he portrays in this movie as Harry going through a lot of loss, I think he does very well. I think everybody does some really good acting jobs, especially Alan Rickman. I mean, that last scene, we'll talk about it, but Alan Rickman absolutely puts on the performance of a lifetime. The only thing that topped it was Deathly Hallows Part 2. That's how good he was in The Half-Blood Prince. And again, the setting, the tone, the colors are also very well done. Like I said, as the movie's going on, the tone and the colors, they get darker and more bleaker, and it's not as colorful as it used to be because you can just tell Voldemort is taking over the wizarding world and is getting more evil, more darker, more sinister. And I like that the only thing that pops out are the spells. When you see the spells, they're so colorful and vibrant. No matter how good the spell is or how bad the spell is, it's so colorful and it pops out. So I really like that stylistic choice from Yates in his team. Even though I have a lot of problems with David Yates as a director from the Harry Potter standpoint, from adapting the book to the movie, I will say he made every movie look special, and I do appreciate that. Now, let's talk about the big positive of this movie, and I did just touch on it, Alan Rickman. I mean, he knocks it out of the park. The pure emotion you see in Dumbledore's death with the whole, you know, the Avada Kedavra. Like, and you know what I love is that there are some things, you know, obviously I'm pretty sure a majority of Harry Potter fans believe that the books are better than the movies. I feel like every person who's read the Harry Potter books probably says the books are better than the movies. But there are always small things that are better in the movies than in the book that make the movies just as watchable as the books are readable. When you look at Alan Rickman, the way he says Avada Kedavra to Dumbledore, that slight, you know, like emotion in his voice when he says it, it's like you don't believe he's pure evil. I will say there are some problems I do have with Alan Rickman as Snape from a writing perspective. I do believe that I think Snape should have been a little bit more evil, like almost as unforgivable. That way there's no doubt in your mind that he was a double agent. That's just the way I looked at it from a book perspective. Like, I like that he was so evil, so horrible, that when the twist finally happened in Deathly Hallows Part 2, it just hit you even more, and it was so well done. But I will say, I do like the decision they made with Snape to make it feel like you don't know whether he's truly bad or not, because the way you look at Alan Rickman with his face, his eyes, anytime he does something, it's like you always feel like there's something else going on in Snape's head. So I do appreciate the direction they went. It was something different. But at the same time, I do maybe slightly prefer the direction they went in the book. But again, how can I complain when Alan Rickman played Snape? I will say, from Dumbledore's death, while I did love the look of the death, I liked how they executed it with, you know, with Malfoy crying, saying, I have to do this or he's going to kill me. Very well done. The only thing I would have changed, and I don't know why they changed this, was Harry was fine. Like, he literally was, like, under, like, you know, whatever the basement, I don't know what that was. He was in some kind of weird room where you could clearly see up the tower, and he saw Dumbledore die, but he was still able-bodied. He still was able to move. He could literally take out his wand and do something. But the book, Dumbledore froze him, so he couldn't do anything, and I think that made the death a little bit more haunting, in my opinion, because Harry wanted to move. Because knowing Harry in the books, he always just does something. You know, if his heart says do it, he just does it immediately and says sorry later. That was always Harry as a character. You know, do first, think later, say sorry at another time. That's how Harry always thought. But with this, it kind of didn't make sense because it was kind of out of character for Harry. You feel like he would have done something or said something. So I like the fact that in the book he was frozen because you clearly see he wanted to do something, but he couldn't no matter what he wanted to do. And I thought that made the death a little bit more haunting and a little bit more terrifying. That's just something I would have done from a stylistic perspective, but I mean, that's just me being a little nitpicky. Now to the mixed aspect that I have with this movie. I do overall like Draco's journey, but there are a lot of problems that I have. Now, first of all, let me say this. I love Tom Felton's performance. Very well done. He really shows the depression, anger, and just pure anxiety that Malfoy suffers as he did in the book. And, like I said, Tom Felton had that look in his eyes. Very well done as Malfoy. I think out of all the movies, this was his best performance as Malfoy. So really well done by him. He made the character come to life, and you felt sympathetic towards him. However, what I did not like, this is where they really strayed away from the book. What I loved about the book is that you truly didn't know what Draco was doing. That's what made it so interesting because Harry was so obsessed. Like, the majority of the book, he's always thinking, I need to find out what Malfoy is doing. He's like, oh, I like Ginny, but also I need to find out what Malfoy is doing. Oh man, I need to learn how to teleport, but I also need to know what Malfoy is doing. It's to the point where Hermione and Ron are saying, bro, stop thinking about Malfoy. Who cares? Just move on with your life. Who cares? We know he's doing bad stuff, but who cares? We can't do anything about it. But Harry is so obsessed. He just wants to figure it out. And it's to the point where in the book, when you're reading it, you're like, is Malfoy doing something? Because, he is bad and we trust Harry, but at the same time, Harry's obsession has become so much, we don't know if his hunch is good or not. Obviously, it was real in the end. His hunch became a reality, but I still like that there was this little bit of doubt that the reader, faced when, seeing from Harry's perspective. But in the movie, you knew what he was doing from the start, and I kind of hated that because it kind of took away all the suspense. Yes, there was a separate type of suspense, like, oh, what is that thing he's doing? Why is he making pigeons disappear? Why is he making an apple disappear? And to me, it just didn't really make any sense because you didn't truly get to see his plan come into good execution. You just saw him in the tower with all the Death Eaters, and then that was it. I feel like they could have done it a little bit better, but I like it from a book perspective where you truly didn't know what he was doing until you saw it happen. I'm also mixed on the pensive memories. We didn't get enough of them. We got 3 of them. That's just ridiculous to me. The entire selling point of this movie was finding out what made Tom Riddle Voldemort. If you're just going off the movies, you didn't learn anything. The way they set it up movie-wise was, oh, he's just always been bad, so, well, there you go, Harry. That doesn't explain his origins in any way. The book shows why he is the way he is. His mother made a love potion, fell in love with the guy, used the love potion to, get married, have a kid. But then she's like, oh wait, no, I think that he truly loves me. Let me stop using the love potion. Love potion wears off. He's like, oh my God, I married you and had a kid. Yeah, deuces. Then he leaves. Then she's stuck with the kid. She goes mad. She gives the kid up and just whatever, withers away. And then, obviously, he's not loved. He's in a horrible position. He thinks he's better than everybody because he has these certain powers. And that's where it starts. But you don't explain any of that. All they did was just focus on the Horcruxes, asking him, what if I separated it into 7 pieces? I want to become immortal. Yeah, but, why? The entire time I'm watching this movie, I'm like, I have a question of why does Voldemort want to become immortal? But we never get the answer at all. And also, the memories, the weird greenish glow that we get, it's weird to me. It's all jarring. It doesn't look good. The way it's written in the book, I love that it feels like Harry is truly part of those memories. He is part of the scene. But in this, it's some weird dreamlike sequence. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that from a stylistic perspective. And now to the negatives. And you thought I was ranting before. Okay. Harry and Ginny's relationship. All right. Let's start this one. First of all, I can understand people who watch the movies and only watch the movies say Harry and Ginny should not be together. I totally get it. Even there are people who read the book who say Harry and Ginny should have not ended up together. I say that's crap. Reading the book, I absolutely adore Harry and Ginny together. And here's why. Harry loves Ginny from the beginning because he always hangs out at the Weasley household, and she's always around him. They have the same sense of humor. They absolutely are obsessed with Quidditch. It makes sense why they would like each other. Plus, in the book, it's explained why she changed so much from a personality perspective. At Dumbledore's funeral, she said, look, Hermione told me that in order for me to like you, I need to be more myself and stop being this obsessed fan of yours. And I did. I stopped obsessing over you, and I became me. I showed who I truly was. and you just happen to like me for me. That's so good. I love that. That's what it's all about. It also helps that she's almost exactly like him personality-wise, very courageous, very stubborn, and she's obsessed with Quidditch. But because in the movies, you don't show any of that, of course it doesn't make sense that they're together, and when they are together in the movies, it's really awkward and dumb and weird. It hurts me because Harry and Ginny is one of my favorite relationships in all the Harry Potter books, and it doesn't help that David Yates himself said, I didn't like that Ginny and Harry were together. I think it should have been Hermione and Harry. Even J.K. Rowling, the writer, she was like, I thought Hermione and Harry should have been together. You wrote the books! Why didn't you put it that way? That makes no sense. And here's the thing. I know she's saying it now because she watched the movies and she's like, oh, it makes more sense. But if you read the books, it doesn't make sense why Harry and Hermione end up together. Because anytime Hermione starts talking to Harry, he doesn't care. He's just like, okay, because she just goes on about Spew and how jealous she is of Ron, how Ron's dating other people besides her, but she'll never say that she likes him. And Harry's just like, I don't care about any of this. Why am I brought into this? So in no way did I see that Harry and Hermione would be together. It makes sense. It just makes sense that Harry and Ginny are together. Why, David Yates? Why do you ruin nice things? Okay, let me move on because my blood is starting to boil. And unfortunately, it's starting to boil even more because Dumbledore's funeral. Why did you not show Dumbledore's funeral? That is literally one of the greatest sequences in the entire series, and you just take it out. You just take it out. Now, from what I've seen, they did film Dumbledore's funeral, but Warner Brothers, being the geniuses that they are, they said, no, we don't want it. It's bad from the tone. It doesn't fit the tone of the movie. What are you talking about? You just saw him die. How does it not fit the tone of the movie? What is Warner Brothers thinking? The funeral was emotional. You see everybody come together. You see people from the first book to now all together to celebrate the most powerful wizard in wizarding history. And it was just so much character development. There's so much emotion. It truly sets up the Deathly Hallows, how Harry's going to go on his own, how him and Ginny are kind of on a break because he understands that the mission comes first and that they're going to come, and that Hermione and Ron are going to come with him. But nope, none of that. It's just all wasted away. It's so, and that's the perfect way to describe this movie. A waste. Like, you literally had a good book at your disposal and you just ruined it and picked it apart and just came up with a shell of what the book is for a movie. And there's also, again, like I said, you know how side characters are really important to a movie, that way you just don't care about the main characters? Yeah, this is why I'm saying this. They don't talk about Tonks and Lupin's relationship at all. Why? It is probably every true Harry Potter fan's favorite relationship. They are so well written, so well done. I love the emotion that they both are right in this sequence. Like, Tonks wants to be with him, but Lupin's like, look, my werewolf condition, it will just hurt people. I shouldn't be with anybody. So it makes sense why you sympathize with both sides. You just want them to be together. It's so well written in the books. But the movie just ruins it. They don't even show it. Why would you not even show it? I can't tell you the amount of character development from the side characters were just completely taken out of this movie. Like, the entire battle sequence at Hogwarts after Dumbledore's death is so well written. You see all the fight going on. You see a lot of character development. And of course, with Bill's injury, you see Fleur truly develop as a character, so showing that she truly loves Bill for Bill. It just makes sense. It's all great. It's all emotional. It's fantastic, but they don't show it. They just don't show it, and it's so annoying, and I hate it. And why am I getting so triggered over this? Now, guys, I'm gonna stop ranting because I think I need to check my blood pressure. Okay, look, as a movie, like I said, as a movie, it's still fine. Like, and here's the thing, if you've never read the book before, I still think this is a good movie, but there are a lot of problems because you're quickly going to find a lot of problems with this movie. Like, I don't get why this is happening. Why is this happening? Why is he so obsessed with this? Why is he acting like that? So, as a movie, I'm going to give it a C because I just feel like, I don't know, I can't explain it. Like, it's just there. Like, you know, it's just one of those movies in the Harry Potter series where you're just like, okay, I have to get through it. You really only need to watch, like, the last, 30 minutes to truly understand what's going on, in my opinion. But as a movie, I'm going to give it a C because there are some enjoyable moments. But as a book, oh my lord, they just, oof. Look, I'm going to be nice because Alan Rickman's performance and Tom Felton's performance and the acting performances were all so well done. I'm gonna give it a D, even though I feel like I should give it an F. I so desperately want to give it an F. I feel like I should, but I'm not going to. Because out of the goodness of my heart, because I want to be nice, I'm going to give the book Perspective a D, as a movie a C, okay? I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with that before I make a mistake. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.